Composers who find themselves in a certain place at a certain period of time in a given set of circumstances often create some amazing works of art. I have one such example for us today. Greetings, music lovers. Rick Ferguson, rickfergusonmusic.com. It's lovely seeing you here. Thank you for joining. Feel free to press the like button if you don't subscribe to my channel. I'd love to welcome you. This video, Brazilian composer, one of my very favorite under-the-radar composers that is not necessarily too widely known. I'm hoping that will change. Brazilian composer Francesca Chiquinha Gonzaga, born in 1847 in Rio. Colorful life story, to put it mildly. Her mother, Rosa, was a mestizo slave in Brazil, and her father, Jose Basilio, was actually a relatively high-ranking military officer, and so he decided to claim Chiquinha as his daughter, married Rose, and therefore Chiquinha was set on a pathway where she was, as the child of a military officer, going to apparently receive quite a good education, including piano study. And Chiquinha composed her first piece at the age of 11, apparently for a Christmas time celebration in their local church, and she never looked back. Rio at that time in the 19th century had really become financial and in many ways, I think, a cultural capital of the Portuguese Empire. And as such, it was a relatively cosmopolitan place to be, and it was really growing in terms of population, in terms of financial capacity, and therefore they were able to begin to really support, bring in, but then also foster Brazilian musical and other artistic talents. And so that became a movement, but at this time still, given all of these factors, roles for women in Brazilian society were pretty severely limited. She ended up eventually getting married to a naval officer. Perhaps no surprise there, given her family history. And after having had 3 children, while also trying to continue a lot of her musical pursuits, apparently Chiquinha's husband gave her an ultimatum: either it's me or it's music, but you really can't have both. Of course, she ended up causing quite a scandal by divorcing her husband, and at the same time, as a result of her decision to divorce, her father disowned her as well. But a wonderful thing then occurred. The entire arts community in Rio really embraced Chiquinha and gave her lots of support artistically as well. And so she was the first Brazilian woman on a conductor's podium. She was such a significant composer of various styles, which I think is just amazing. First and foremost, perhaps Brazilian Choro. And Choro is this absolutely brilliant blend of sort of fusion of different elements, African-derived motives, rhythms, energy, and Portuguese influences, a little bit more slightly Western European. So you put those two together and you get this wonderful Choro style, and Chiquinha was the first Choro pianist and really, I think, defined that particular genre. So I want to hear an example of one of her Choro pieces. So here is Bionne. This is, I think, a great representation of Choro pianistic style. Enjoy. Now, in addition to choro, Chiquinha also composed polkas, sambas, Brazilian tango, marches, some salsa music. So she was very much at home in multiple genres and was very accomplished. Ended up writing a total of 200 works. I would like us to hear an example now of one of her tangos, Sospiro. I think that this is a wonderful example of a little bit more intimate, inwardly focused, contemplative music. So this is her tango, Sospiro. Enjoy. Now, one more significant composition triumph for Chiquinha was her operatic writing. And it was really so smart and absolutely wonderful, to further and to try to define Brazilian musical styles. The operatic nut had not really been cracked terribly well. And what Chiquinha decided to do, and her really fun operettas, such as Robodo and Juriti, all of these were wildly popular, very, very successful. Perhaps the main reason was that Chiquinha incorporated Brazilian cultural elements and themes into these operettas and their larger stage work, orchestral work, but constantly incorporating these clearly Brazilian influences. The populace just ate it up, and Chiquinha really was, I think, very adept at helping to champion and further define what Brazilian music has come to be, which is just such a brilliantly conceived collection of different styles that are, I think, very much in sync with each other and share freely from one to the other. So it's just a great Great story. Chiquinha has a sculpture in Rio at the Paseo Public. The sculptor, the artist, was Honorius Picanha. That's a wonderful honoring of the art and life of Chiquinha Gonzaga by the Brazilian authorities. And I would certainly invite you to check out Chiquinha's music. It's so much fun and it is so life-affirming. And she was a brilliant, brilliant musician and composer. All right, thank you so much for viewing. It's wonderful seeing you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.